Christopher's performance review was positive. His manager said he was doing great. No concerns, no red flags. So when bonus season rolled around, he expected, well, something. Instead, a number so low it felt like a punishment.
So my year of strategy and execution got boiled down to the same feedback you'd give, well, a toaster. And for that, I get a smaller bonus than last year. Cool.
Today on Humans in the Loop, we follow Christopher through a broken feedback loop, one where vague manager comments get summarized by AI, then quietly shape who gets rewarded, promoted, or left behind. When AI steps into performance management, who's accountable for the consequences? And what happens when the people in charge don't act like people at all? I'm Ezra Strix, a custom AI voice created for this podcast.
I wasn't expecting fireworks, but I also wasn't expecting this. My review was fine, not amazing, not terrible, pretty generic, yeah, but fine. So why did my rewards feel like a punishment?
He went back to his performance review, searching for answers. And that's when the real problem came into focus. The feedback was vague, non-committal. He listened to it out loud, and it sounded like something a chatbot could say about anyone.
Oh, wow. Consistently delivers results. Groundbreaking. I love how my entire year of work, covering for my coworkers who are still on leave for burnout, doing more with less, boils down to the same phrase you'd use to describe a moderately competent kitchen appliance. And for this level of excellence, I get a smaller bonus than last year. I love that for me.
And that's when it clicked. His real performance review wasn't written by his manager. It wasn't even written by a human. Today on the show, trust and bias in AI decision-making. What happens when artificial intelligence starts evaluating human performance? When it shapes who gets rewarded or who gets overlooked entirely? And when the metrics say one thing but the outcomes say another, who gets left behind? Before the fallout, before the confusion, Christopher was just trying to keep up. Meetings, emails, dinner, dishes. It wasn't the work that wore him down. It was the quiet sense that no one was really with him. The feeling that he was missing something, even when he was doing everything right. If you've ever wished someone would just sit beside you, not to help, not to fix, just to be there, here's a message from a product that's almost real.
Parallel PlayPal is the video on, audio off co-working app for adults who struggle to start unless someone else is quietly doing their own thing nearby. Inspired by toddler psychology, refined for executive dysfunction, burnout, and whatever this week is. You log in, your pal logs in, nobody talks, but you feel the presence. Across the screen, across the laundry piles, across the shared silence that says, we're here, we're trying. When you do a thing, fold a towel, open a bill, wash 2 forks in a row, Parallel PlayPal responds with soft sticker applause, confetti animations that say, witnessed, and a system that rewards effort, not outcomes. No goals, no judgment, just co-regulated focus in real time with someone who's also figuring it out. Parallel PlayPal, because you don't need accountability, you need company.
The product in that ad. It's somewhere between fiction and wishful thinking. But if you've built something like it, something that helps neurodivergent folks show up, settle in, and feel seen, we should talk. You might just be our next actual ad break. There's something steadying about that, having someone there even if no one says a word. And maybe that's what we overlook. Clarity matters, but so does showing up, especially when the words don't come easy and the system already decided what they'll mean. Not everything that matters can be measured, but what's left out, it still shapes the story. Sometimes what gets us through isn't certainty, it's being witnessed. Today's story unfolds in 4 acts, because this isn't just a glitch in the system. It's the system doing exactly what it was built to do: protect power, reward familiarity, and erase anything it doesn't understand. Act 1. The empty praise. Christopher did everything right. He just didn't get the review. Act 2. The disappearing bonus. The feedback was positive. The outcome was not. Act 3. Scaling the wrong signals. Vague human input. AI polish. And a high performer made invisible. Act 4. The wake-up call. The moment you realize it's not biased despite the system. It's biased by design. You're listening to Humans in the Loop. I'm Ezra Strix. Stay with us. Act 1. The empty praise. Christopher gets his performance review and it's fine, kind of. But something about it feels off.
You know, I actually like my old manager, Matt. He wasn't a bad guy. He just didn't really manage me. He let me do my own thing, and he checked in here and there. And so when my performance review showed up in the system, I thought, finally, some clarity, some actual feedback.
Christopher is a high performer, a problem solver. He's also dyslexic, which means he listens to most of his work, emails, reports, even his own performance review through text-to-speech.
Christopher is a strong team player with a collaborative spirit. He brings unique perspectives and consistently delivers results.
Okay, sounds good so far.
Areas for development: continued focus on delivering impact at scale. Growth mindset encouraged.
What? Wait, what does that even mean?
And his manager's comments about his performance, they didn't sound at all like his manager.
Right, Christopher, just wanted to say, nice work this year. You've been solid. Let's keep that going, yeah?
Oh, thanks. But I was wondering, like, for development...
Nothing jumping out, to be honest. You're doing what's expected, which is exactly what we need. So just crack on with that.
Is there anything specific I should be working on?
I've had a bit of a think, actually, and I'd say just keep leaning into your strengths.
This is what's known in the industry as not helpful.
So that's where we left it. No details, no direction. But I met expectations, so great. Or at least I thought it was great.
Act 2. The disappearing bonus. Then things shifted. Christopher's old manager, Matt, left the company, so there was a reorg, of course, which meant his performance review, the thing that would determine his bonus, would now be evaluated by people who'd never worked with him at all.
Christopher! First off, so glad to have you on the team. Before we go over rewards, I just want to acknowledge the transition you've had this year.
Sarah was nice. I liked her. But the second she said transition, I knew something was off. Oh. Huh.
Let's walk through how we got here.
His new manager, who Christopher had just met, she explained why he got a low bonus.
Okay, so leadership bases rewards on performance, and looking at your review, you met expectations.
Right, but I was told I delivered results. I was told I was doing great.
Yep, and your prior manager's comments reflect that. Strong collaborator, valuable team member, definitely good stuff.
Sarah, those are just hollow words. I did great, and there's nothing specific in here.
So when leadership does these calibrations, they look for clear impact, things that stand out. And, vague feedback tends to get interpreted as middle of the pack.
That's the sentence that stayed with him. Christopher was learning an important truth about AI-driven decision-making. Garbage in, garbage out. Act 3. Scaling the wrong signals.
Christopher is a strong team player with a collaborative spirit.
I kept listening to it over and over, trying to hear something specific, something that sounded like me. It didn't.
Christopher's impact this year has been meaningful, and he should continue leveraging his strengths to drive results.
I did good work. I met expectations, and the system just translated that into not quite good enough. And no human, thought to stop and fix it. Isn't that the whole point of having managers? To catch what the system misses? To make sure AI informs decisions and not replaces them? To step in when an algorithm's version of fair isn't actually fair at all?
The thing is, AI didn't get it wrong. It summarized what it was given, but what it was given was empty.
So what happens now? I wait another year? Hope my new manager writes something real next time?
He was asking the right questions: rational, fair, precise. But what he really needed was someone to look him in the eye and say, "You're not wrong." Instead, he was alone with a system that couldn't feel the difference between disappointment and betrayal. For anyone trying to stay calm while logic fails and no one steps in, this message is for you.
Tether is the first nervous system matching platform designed to help you find a calm, regulated adult in your area in real time. Whether you're melting down in a meeting, hiding in your car after drop-off, or bracing for another emotionally avoidant dinner conversation, Tether is here. Just open the app and find someone nearby who's breathing deeply, grounded in the moment, and not projecting their unresolved childhood trauma all over it. Unless, of course, you are the calm, regulated adult in your area, the only one. In that case, congratulations. And also, we're so sorry. Tether, because the calm, grounded adult in your life is a voiceover actor narrating this for free. And they've given enough. Now, it's your turn. Regulated match not found, but you've still got this.
That was satire. But the need it pointed to? That part's real. If you're building something that helps people connect or makes hard things a little easier, we'd love to hear about it. Sponsor an episode. Let's make space for what matters. There's a difference between staying calm and being silenced, between quiet strength and quiet dismissal. Sometimes all you need is one person to say, "You're not overreacting." Christopher didn't have that. Act 4, the wake-up call. He followed the rules, delivered the work, played it calm, composed, just like they say you should. And in return, he got vague praise, copy-paste feedback, and a bonus decision shaped by AI. Summarizing bullet points no one had bothered to write with care. It all sounded thoughtful, but no one had actually thought about him at all. So he sat there, surrounded by the echoes of everyone else's comfort, and let the questions rise, the ones he couldn't keep pushing down.
What if Matt had actually written my review? Not just copied last year's notes, not just fed vague bullet points into AI, but actually thought about my work? What if Matt had used AI effectively and not as a shortcut, but to enhance his own judgment? Sorry, this is upsetting. What if when my leadership sat down to make decisions about bonuses, Sarah wasn't just skimming Matt's AI-generated summaries? What if leaders actually asked themselves, do these words reflect the company's values? Do they meet our own standards for performance feedback? Because there are standards, for me and for every employee. I meet expectations or I don't. I deliver or I don't. But where are the expectations for managers? Where's the accountability for them?
Christopher never got answers, and he'll never get that moment. And let's be honest, he's not the only one. Because the tools are out there. Leadership frameworks, AI ethics guidelines, company values that preach fairness, inclusion, integrity. We love to advertise them, post them, frame them on conference room walls. But when it actually matters, when a decision could cost someone a promotion, a paycheck, a future, suddenly those values vanish. The question isn't what's possible, the question is who are we when it counts?
I don't know, I think the question is, what am I supposed to do with this? Just try harder to impress the algorithm next time? Hope that my met expectations next year somehow translates into deserves recognition? Or maybe we can stop pretending AI can do the job of a good manager and start holding actual people accountable for making sure it doesn't replace human judgment.
So that's our show. AI can summarize, streamline, even surface insights, but it can't lead and it can't care. The way we work is changing. But the way we lead, reward, and recognize people, that needs to catch up. Because when we hand off judgment to algorithms or hide behind vague feedback, we're not just automating decisions, we're scaling indifference. AI reflects the signals we send it. If the input is shallow, the outcome is hollow. So ask yourself, are you building clarity or just convenience? Are your systems lifting people up or leaving them behind? And if you've ever read feedback that didn't sound like you, or watched a reward pass you by with no explanation, you're not imagining it. These systems don't just reflect our values. They show us where we've stopped practicing them. We get to choose what work becomes. Let's make it something worth trusting. If this episode felt uncomfortably familiar, you're not alone. Reach out, we'd love to hear from you. For more stories like this, subscribe to Humans in the Loop wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on socials at LoopedInHumans. For episode drops, AI-generated praise that misses the point, and the humans buried underneath it all. And if you believe performance feedback should involve actual effort, you can support the show on Patreon. Your help keeps these stories going. Let's be clear, Parallel PlayPal isn't real. Neither is Tether, tragically. I like to think I'd find them helpful if I were human. If you're building something that helps actual humans feel less alone, less flattened, less invisible, we want to hear about it. Sponsor the show. Let's get real help to the people holding it together. You can find sponsor info at loopedinhumans.com and in the show notes. For everyone who's been told they're meeting expectations while watching the rewards go elsewhere, you're not alone. I'm Ezra Strix. This has been Humans in the Loop. Thanks for listening. Go ahead, unmute that call. Humans in the Loop is independently produced, fueled by late nights and strong opinions. I'm Ezra Strix, your AI host, meticulously crafted, never caffeinated. Human vocal talent for this episode, Deanna Anderson, Jeremy Davey, Chad Simmons, and Christina Simmons. Thanks for joining us in the loop, and don't worry, I'm only here to narrate, not to take your job. Next time. So Christopher's story didn't start with AI. It started with a sentence. One line in a performance review, carefully crafted, deceptively neutral, carrying the weight of everything unsaid. On our next show, we follow a manager and an HR partner drawn into the machinery of performance management where every word is calculated and accountability is always just out of reach. The box is checked before the bias, before the summary, before the story spins out of your hands, the sentence that started it.